Hey, it's Michael J, and I'm here for my reading roundup for the summer of 2025. Now, I know that most of my subscribers are here for classic cinema content, but I only do so much of that actually. My interests are broader than that, and so you get some of the theater I'm working on and some of my vacation trips. I do travel videos and exploring neighborhoods around where I live in Sacramento, so it's different things. But the viewership is really high for the classic film stuff. However, I watch a lot of other people's YouTube channels too. I subscribe to a lot of channels and I get interested in what they're interested in, and I get recommendations. And one of the things I like seeing is just their mundane things, like what they're doing with their home or what they're reading. And I love some of the reading episodes that some of the subscribers I follow do. And it's nice to find out about something that I might have a common interest with that I want to read. And I'm always trying to read something interesting. So anyway, I know that I'm going to do a quarterly book review video, and it doesn't get a lot of views, and it doesn't really matter. I'm doing it for me more than anything, but I also like seeing this kind of video from other subscribers that I watch, so I thought, why not? Let's do it. I get on a whim with videos that I create. Like if I get on a little obsession about something, I'll make a video about it. Half of it is the creativity of making the video, and exploring this thing that I have a little obsession about. But today it's reading, and lately, okay, so if you saw the last reading video, I was trying to read this Hirschfeld biography, which I finished. Now, this inspired me to make a video all about the art of Al Hirschfeld, the great caricature artist who chronicled Broadway and Hollywood all through the 20th century. And so I'm going to link that at the end because I do kind of give a review of this book. You can see it was a heavy read, but it was really entertaining and I enjoyed it. So I finally got that done. That took, June, which is when I started it. So then I went to read, now I'm probably out of order here, but it's in front of me, so I'll do it. A Boy's Own Story, which is by Edmund White. It was originally published in 1982. It is a gay teen coming of age story, and it's taking place in the 50s and 60s. And it really grabs you in the first chapter, and his writing is so vivid. I really like, he has a way with words. In fact, such a way with words, I had to look up a lot of vocabulary, which is good, educational, right? But it went on tangents after the first chapter, focusing on other characters in the protagonist's life and how they affect him. But what I really was promised in that first chapter, we never got back to that again. So, however, I decided to read this. I've read another book by Edmund White before that I really enjoyed, but this book was recommended because he died not so long ago, and everybody was posting about how important this book was to them. And I think if you pick this book up in 1982 and you were looking for something about the gay coming out experience or just what it means to be a gay teen in those days, that this was probably a revelation. It probably meant a lot. So much has happened since then. Now we're in 2025 and there's so many gay coming of age stories on TV, in the movies, books, there's a lot. And so to me at this point, this is paling in comparison. But I can see why everybody mentioned this book when he died. It is important to the moment it was released. Now, that brings me to another book I read. Well, I decided, I had a long trip to Crater Lake, 6 hours up and 6 hours back, and I thought, I'll get an audio book to listen to on the way up. And I did that before with Moby Dick, like 2 years ago. When I went to Mendocino, I listened to Moby Dick on the way up and back and got Moby Dick into my brain. So I have that classic under my belt now. But this was a sequel to a book I hadn't read, but there was a movie. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, which, like this, is a gay coming-of-age story set in the 80s. In this case, it's set in the 80s. I think in New Mexico, and one of the boys in the story has a Mexican family, and that culture is part of his story. And then the other boy is heritage is Caucasian and Mexican. So he's the mix of the two, and that informs his life too. And he's a little bit more of privilege. He goes to a all-boys Catholic school, whereas the other boy, Aristotle, goes to a public school, and so there's this contrast in their lives there too. Anyway, the movie is produced by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who is famous for many things, Broadway, but mostly Hamilton, right? And he produced this. Well, I thought, we get to the end of these coming-of-age stories right when the kids have come out, or maybe they decide they're going to be boyfriends and their life is going to begin, and that's the end. And I always think, no, that's the beginning of their lives. Now we're at the beginning. Now what happens, So I thought, I wish there was a sequel. It turns out there's a written sequel. It hasn't been made into a movie yet. And I understand that the author would rather see it be a TV series. And after going through it, the Audible version, interestingly, read by Lin-Manuel Miranda, who does a great job playing all the characters. This book is more expansive in terms of the story. There's more about the friend groups to these boys, and more about the parents and the grandparents, and it's and I thought after listening to it, I keep wanting to say read it, listening to it, that a movie wasn't going to contain it. You'd have to cut out an awful lot in the case of this second story. Well, doing it as a TV series would honor the book and solve that problem. So I hope that really happens. Although I can't see anywhere that anything's been greenlit for it, but I'd love to see it. But it was so charming and heartfelt, and I was thinking about it for quite a while afterwards. It was parts of it, ideas in it were resonating with me for a while. So I do recommend this sequel, which is called Aristotle and Dante Dive into the Waters of the World, is the sequel's name. Okay. So I was saying I watch other YouTubers and get inspiration from them as well. And one who does home interior stuff, he mentioned a magazine that I hadn't heard of that looked really great. He was showing it in his video, Cabana, and it's 10 years old. And I thought, I'm going to get a copy, just, order a copy to see. And there was a 10-year anniversary edition. And I thought, I'll get that, a retrospective of if I'm going to get one copy, I'll get that. Well, it turns out it arrived, and it's this wonderful, like a coffee table book, and it's really big, and it's hardcover. I didn't realize it was going to be, with a cloth cover, and apparently the regular magazine has a cloth cover too, which is really, so they're always picking the pattern of the cloth cover different for each magazine. And anyway, it's got the editor's favorite photo spreads, and it's mostly of interiors, and the interiors are all, I don't think anything's contemporary, at least anything in here. It's all from Europe, and there's nothing from America here, I don't think. And but different places in Europe, and the interior could be downtrodden, like it's seen better days, but there's a beauty in seeing its age. And then there's other places where somebody's fixed it up and added to it, but honored the original intent of the architecture. And it's just, I'm just sort of thumbing through it here. It's just kind of gorgeous. And in fact, there's one, picture in here where I thought, for my set design, because I do scenic painting for my theater productions, that it would be a great wall treatment somewhere along the line. Anyway, I think I really, really enjoyed this book. I'm not going to subscribe to the magazine. I don't want to have a pile of magazines with, even though they're kind of gorgeous to look at, but then what do you do with them? But this book is really nice. It's retrospective. So there's not very much text. So yes, there was some reading to do, but not that much. It's mostly just these gorgeous photos of interiors from different countries. So that was nice. And then now I'm just finishing up the last of my collection of original text Hardy Boys books. This is The Shortwave Mystery, and it's a good yarn. The thing about the Hardy Boys is, I'm sure that as you go through all of the years, because it's decades, there's better and worse books. All of the ones that I've been reading are up from 1929 to 1945, and that's the end of my collection. And because it's the original, the original author who was, whose nom de plume was Franklin W. Dixon, is who I collected, and then that's it. Because I have to draw the line. But they're all fun, and I really enjoy them. And you enjoy getting to know the details of the characters. If you read a number of them, you start seeing the pattern and you learn, and the town they live in, Bayport, and all the ins and outs, and the various inhabitants and neighbors and things that are involved, and the friends. They all have their, their character traits that you get used to, and but at the same time, there's a feeling of same old, same old. There's a different mystery every time, but there's a lot of repeat of the character traits, so that if you picked up this book first, you would have an understanding of the people without having to read the other ones. They kind of will briefly go over things that we already know. If you are a fan and you've been reading along, so there's a redundancy that's laced in there, but then the mystery is always different. And it amazes me that people have been able to come up with mysteries for these two high school boys who never graduated from high school. not in 50 years, they keep coming up with mysteries for these boys. But so that's where I am now. I am not sure what I'm going to read next. In October, I'm going to finish reading The October Country by Ray Bradbury, which is short stories with a kind of, October, Halloween, fall kind of theme. I'm going to go back to that. But right now, I'm about to start directing a production of Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm in the middle of choreographing for American River College Amelie, the musical. And then there's a lot of stuff going on with school that I have to take charge of now that takes up my time. So I'm not reading very much extra stuff. So I'm going to be looking for something that I can kind of have in my bag for when I do want to pull something out and read, instead of just like scrolling through Instagram or something, which I tend to be doing because it's easy. Bad. Gotta keep reading. Always gotta keep reading. Always have something interesting to read, and make yourself do it, because we have to keep our attention spans. We can't have like these scattered attention spans. Reading is good for that. Reading keeps your mind working. So I advocate reading. But that's it for now. And so I guess maybe The October Country is going to be, I started that last fall and only read half because I got to Halloween and I thought I wanted to move on to something else. And so I'm going to finish that now, and I think that's probably what's next. So right after I say goodbye, you can click on the link to see the Art of Hirschfeld, Ode to Hirschfeld video that I did, and learn a little something more about Al Hirschfeld. Thanks for watching.
Then the world discovers, as my book ends, how to make two lovers a friend.